A decade after the Great War, Europe was still trying to heal itself. Great streams of people made the pilgrimage to the battlefields of France and Belgium to remember the trenches where a generation had fallen. Massive new memorials to the dead had just been completed, and people were reminded of the slaughter.
The dreams were, some of them were pretty horrible. Sometimes you dreamt about getting through the barbed wire, and sometimes you dreamt about seeing Germans approaching with fixed bayonets, and other times you could see the ground being swept in front of you with German machine guns, and you're being told you're going to advance over that ground, which was a shocking feeling.
A new wave of novels and films rekindled a sense of horror. In All Quiet on the Western Front, ordinary soldiers discussed the absurdity of war.
Well, how do they start a war?
Well, one country offends another.
How could one country offend another? You mean there's a mountain over in Germany gets mad at a field over in France?
Well, stupid, one people offends another.
Oh, that's it. I shouldn't be here at all. I don't feel offended.
It don't apply to tramps like you.
Good. Then I can be going home right away.
You just try it.
Yeah, you want to get shot?
Anti-war rallies were held all over the world. Many young people took vows of pacifism. George Watt, a student in Brooklyn, pledged never to fight in any war.
I'd already been interested in peace for some time. As an adolescent, I had read All Quiet on the Western Front and resolved together with my teenage buddy that we would not go to any war, that war was absolutely immoral and horrible, and we wouldn't take part in it.
The idea of preventing war by disarmament was also passionately promoted worldwide. But the disarmament conference proposed by the League of Nations had still not come about, and advocates of disarmament were getting impatient.
That it is uniquely the task of the generation in which you and I live to strike from the face of the earth this arch enemy of mankind, which is war. The only way in which any nation or any man is going to feel safe in this country or any country is by abolishing those instruments which are called the instruments of defense.
And we are going to go to Geneva to get the nations of the world to join in and reduce this enormous, disgraceful burden of armaments which we are now bearing from one end of the world to the other.
Finally, in 1932, the League of Nations arranged a World Disarmament Conference. The League took delivery of thousands of petitions collected from around the world. The signatures have been gathered to show that millions of people expected their leaders to banish war.
I went to one of the opening sessions of the conference when people came from all over the world petitioning for disarmament, and it was meant to be a tremendous moment. We all had great hopes that there really was going to be very substantial disarmament.
Australia, 112,108, and Fiji, 330.
The final tally was announced as the conference began. Even non-member nations like the United States had sent petitions.
United States of America, 1,135,453, and Hawaii, 130.
The common man wants to know whether the governments with great military, naval, and air forces are really in earnest in their desire for peace. If they are, a disarmament treaty can be framed. And if it is accepted, the whole international atmosphere will change as if by magic.
But there was no magic forthcoming. Nations were not willing to give up arms in an unsafe world. Arriving in New York, Poland's former Prime Minister Paderewski summarized the problem.
Mr. Paderewski, what is your opinion about disarmament?
It's a very good intention, very fine idea, but a very difficult task. Everyone expects the other fellow to disarm, but is not ready to disarm himself.